Okay, so you ready?
I am.
Okay. So I'll do the intro, or do you want to do it?
You can do the intro. Yeah, that's usually the thing. You do the intro, and I'll just kind of come in.
Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to Salem. My name is Zach, and I'm here with EegoreVids, that is, because we're doing our second podcast about Salem. And I know a lot of you guys have been asking for more of this, so we decided to go for another hour since we're free. So say hi, Igor.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Alright, now let me just make sure my Fraps is actually recording, because we don't want to miss a full hour of content. Okay, it is.
No, that'd be bad.
It's fine. Alright, so basically what we're going to be doing is talking about all the changes since our last podcast, and there's been a lot. We've gone out of the closed beta and into the closed commercial beta, which is all semantics. And there's basically a ton of stuff coming up as well. The world's a bit more crowded and some things... Okay, yes. So, where would you like to start?
Well, we could start with talking about. I was actually, the first one was how things have been going in the new world with the new changes and everything, and what we think about that. And there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, okay. So, you usually know a lot more than I do. So, how about you go ahead and start on that?
Well, I mean, opposed to the changes that we've already talked about with the new blackberry bushes and all the new stuff going on. One of the big ones to actually note, which I'm sure since this whole podcast is going to be an hour, we'll get a great tour of Boston, so we'll get there. But there's the biggest one that recently is the player ran stalls in Boston now. So that's pretty huge, and it's amazing that way. I know I've had this problem a lot where I go into Boston, you're trying to find somebody who's selling nails or selling something, and you can't find anybody. Well, now they have stalls that you can actually purchase for a ridiculous price, but you can actually purchase the stalls and you can sell things for your village or even just yourself. So I can actually go to Boston, buy up 10 nails if I want to, and I don't need anybody to talk to do it. I can just go right to the stall.
Yeah, so actually, why don't we walk over and have a look at them?
Sure.
They're just over there, down there.
Yep, head on over there. And they actually, like I said, they cost a ridiculous amount of silver. They actually cost 5,000 silver initially, 300 silver weekly, and there's a 15% tax.
Wow. Wow.
So,
right.
Tons of people standing around Boston over here.
Oh yeah,
Got the signpost.
Oh yeah, they put up a signpost here. Bazaar of Boston this way.
But yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I know you covered it in one of your last videos there, but I mean, for the old shop prices, that was $100 US for just to start up a your own stall. So that's I like it. A lot of people try and undercut each other. Like this guy right here, this third one all the way at the end, is selling iron bars for 80 silver a pop, and I remember those used to be 175. The next guy's got iron bars for 115, so everybody just kind of undercuts each other. So it should end up, it'll end up getting to the economy should balance out. But that's one of the big changes in Boston thus far.
Yeah.
The other big change is actually they are starting to implement more purity into the game, so that'll make for some decent gameplay. It's actually been in for a while, but they actually implemented a purity for like mines and stuff, which I'm not really sure personally how I feel about it, but I don't really know yet how it's going to work. So I just have faith in Seatribe that they'll do a good job.
Yeah, well, so far they've been managing to fix like all the problems that we've been having problems with over time.
Honestly, every time I talk about, or every time, me and a couple friends will get together, we talk about it, and every time we have something to complain about, it always ends up turning into the next patch, oh, they fixed it. So, I mean, they're definitely aware of their problems. They know what's going on, so they know what to fix. But one of the biggest things with mines right now is that basically when you first start off your mine, I'm sure I'm sure if you've seen my videos, the prospecting one where you use just the woo-woo wand to find your first mine hole.
Oh yeah.
When you find your first mine hole, your mine hole is basically 0% pure. So then you use that mine hole to build a set of dowsing rods.
Right.
And dowsing rods can see up to +2 mines. So if you walk around with dowsing rods and you see a mine hole, then you're going to see a mine hole that if you equip your woo-woo wand, you're not going to be able to see it.
Oh, right.
So that means that that mine hole is better purity than the one you currently are using. And then you use that mine to get better dowsing rods and find more mine holes.
Do you know what the maximum level is of mines?
Not sure yet. That I have not even actually asked, but
Right.
Loftar has actually told me in IRC chat, we were talking about it, and he actually told me that they have different metals in the game right now that we can't even see yet.
Right. So that
they
they're already
have
there. It's just we can't access it.
Yep, they haven't made things for it yet. Also, another cool feature that's going to be implemented hopefully pretty soon is I don't know if they're changing it completely or what they're going to do, but the woo-woo wand eventually is going to be for finding wells. And those exist, I guess, in the game right now, but we can't see them yet.
Right, yeah. Wells as in for water?
Yep, it's basically an unlimited source of water.
Ah.
So you can instead of having to, aside from the obvious running away from monsters or from bears and such to get across the river, if you don't live necessarily near one, you can just pop a well up, which I'm sure will be 100 stone or something ridiculous, and you can just use your bucket and right click on the well, and I'm sure there'll be a cool little animation, and then it'll go down and get you a bucket of water. So that should be pretty interesting. So in my honest opinion, especially for you guys out there watching, don't be disappointed that you're not in the beta yet, because the longer that you wait before it goes into open beta, the more stuff that's going to be in the game, and it's just going to be that much better of an experience. So that's definitely for everybody that watches and it's not in yet.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people who joined the closed beta much earlier on, and they complained about so much stuff, and they said the game was just terrible, and they quit. And if they joined today, they might not have quit, actually,
right?
Because there's so much in the game already.
One of the big ones is the tutorials now. I know you just did your Let's Play videos, which I got horrendously mad at you, because the whole time you're sitting there going, well, I think I need, what was it? You said, I think I need something to get a lean-to, colonial tradesmanship. And I was like, no, it's hiking.
I forgot.
Like, trying to figure...
It's so strange that you need hiking to get a lean-to, so...
Yep. And the only reason that I know that right now is because I've literally gone through all of the skills and done that for my new video that I'm working on. So it's the only reason I knew that.
Yeah. I really thought that it was either settling or the colonial tradesmanship. I really thought it was.
Yeah. And a couple of cool little features too for the people that watch that have played Haven and Hearth. I know you didn't play it, but the turkeys, that when you made the video about turkeys, when they implemented turkeys, they actually took the sound of ring neck is the same sound from Haven and Hearth.
Ah, right.
Which is pretty funny. I found that quite amusing. And they have the chicken coops now, or the turkey coops, or whatever you want to say it is. But
they did add in the skill, right?
Yep, turkey farming, which is a ridiculous. It's like 3,500 stocks and cultivators or something like that. So it's pretty rough to get, but it's definitely they're I know in the last podcast we were talking about the direction that this game was heading, and from what I've been seeing and really been paying attention and really been looking at what they've been doing, they're definitely aiming for Haven and Hearth version 2.
All right, yeah, and as you've told me before, Haven and Hearth is basically a massive game, isn't it?
Oh yes, it's extremely massive.
Yeah, like Salem hasn't even covered like a quarter of the content Haven and Hearth has.
Nope, because I could go on for hours, which we don't have, about the different things in Haven and Hearth that aren't in this game yet. There's a couple of things that they're working on doing. I know that like in the last patch, they made urns. You can now make urns. I'm not sure what it actually requires to make one, but I'm pretty sure it's just like clay, and it's actually a 14 slot container. So they only take up one space, one square, so it's really nice for storing stuff. Basically, just if you need a quick thing to store stuff, or if you want to put it next to a potting plant or something like that. So urns are definitely pretty cool. Let's see, what else is
they beat
changed?
baskets.
Yeah. Oh Lord, they beat baskets. But baskets are extremely useful early on.
Yeah, they're just so easy to make.
Yes. They also made mining cheaper, which is outstanding, and made me very angry because I still thought mining was still 2,500 mines and mountains, and now it's only 2,000. So I'm sitting here pumping points into my mines and mountains, and I look at it and I'm going, oh, well, would you look at that? The other thing that actually made me kind of angry, that was literally, it was just, I laughed because I was so confused, is just recently, Wednesday, August 15th, 2012, at my time, was 2:11 a.m. They made locksmithing require blacksmithing to get.
Right.
And this was just the day, earlier that day, before I went to bed. I was 1 point away from getting locksmithing, so I was going to get it the next day. I had all my inspirationals set up and ready to go. I logged on the next day and couldn't find locksmithing. And I'm going, I just had this unlocked last night. Well, what is going on here? And sure enough, they changed it.
Well, is blacksmithing a lot harder to get?
No, actually, I really do think, I'm not 100%, but I think they actually dropped it down from the last world, because blacksmithing only takes, it's like 1750. All it is 1750 arts and crafts, mines and mountains of sparks and ember, all at 1750, and then only 900 natural philosophy. So it is fairly easy to get.
Right.
I only had to get, I think, 2 points in sparks and embers, and I already had it.
Ah, good.
But it kind of confused me, because it got me worried, because locksmithing doesn't require metal and blacksmithing deals with metal. So I was going, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, it's like hiking and lean-tos, isn't it?
Right, yeah, well, there you go. But among the other new things, they've been doing a lot of, which makes me definitely happy, is they've been doing a lot of changing and just buffing different things and doing different things with the items. So they're actually starting to look at those things now too. So that's definitely could see, like I said, that's why I said for all the guys that, or all the people that are watching that haven't played yet, be glad that you haven't got in yet, because it's only going to get better. I haven't seen any sign that the game is going downhill.
Yeah.
So
it is getting much better.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to where the game goes, and definitely looking forward to, how it starts developing and what happens. So that should be pretty.
At this point, when they say they're working on open beta, I believe them.
Right, and what's sad is I've seen, a lot of games out there who have a team of 80 plus developers that don't work on a game this fast. I mean, they have a pretty steady every Friday, I think. Every Friday they do an update, and it's usually a pretty hefty update. Yeah.
I mean, the only game from a small team that I've seen update faster than this is Overgrowth. If you haven't seen that game, go check that out. But
no, I haven't. I'll definitely have to check that out.
Overgrowth is a physics-based combat engine kind of game, and it's basically almost as elaborate as Salem, but it's an RPG third-person fighting game-ish thing. It's really weird, but
it sounds interesting.
Yeah, their development is really fast as well.
Also, off that topic for a second, I did want to make a mention that they have, I don't know if you've noticed, but they've added coin purses to the Boston stall now, which is amazing, because the one, it's 1,000 silver, but it holds 7,500 silver. The 351 holds 200 or 2,500 silver. So that's definitely cool, because I was getting really sick, not in this world, but last world, I was getting sick of having, 6 coin purses full of 500 silver laying around.
Yeah, and of course the pink one is the most expensive, banker's purse.
Of course. Yep, the banker's purse. They have to make it sound all super awesome.
Yeah.
But aside from those changes, I don't really know of any other than the learning ability that changed, that I just love. I love that they did that. Some people
so
don't.
You can't spam it anymore.
Right. Some people don't like it, and some people, if they have played, they may have played the game, and maybe they say, oh, well, I don't really care for the way the new learning system is. Well, if they haven't played the game, don't get discouraged if you guys haven't played it yet, because when you first start playing it, you're going to realize how ridiculously easy and almost overpowered it used to be. And now when you play the game, you have to think. You can't play Salem for a mindless game to play. You can't. Because you're constantly doing math, or you're constantly thinking, oh, well, what am I going to do next? Or, you're always looking at certain things. And so definitely moving up, I would say.
Yeah, it's not Farmville.
It's not a fun grind in the beginning, and I know that, but I do appreciate, a game where my thought process and my thinking and well planning makes me feel better for the result. It feel more rewarding, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, the sense of progression in Salem is a lot bigger than like a typical RPG. Like you really feel like you've achieved something. And
yeah, and
also...
that's something. Oh, sorry to cut you off, but that's something that you haven't seen in games for years.
Yeah, and also it feels worthwhile because there's a real risk of losing it. Like a lot of people, of course, complain about the permadeath, but the permadeath is what makes it worthwhile.
Right, and honestly, this once again goes out to the people watching. If you haven't played and you're thinking, oh, permadeath, I don't know, that sounds really bad, it's amazing. Just try it. Because it's like just what I think it was Jorb that said it in one of his views, or one of his videos, his developer diaries, is the feeling of having something to lose is outstandingly rewarding when you start getting yourself some assets and you start getting your character developed, and the only thing you're afraid of is losing it.
Yeah.
So where most people would think, oh, I'd be so mad if I went out and worked on my character and did everything, and then all of a sudden I died. Well, if you take the proper precautions, you won't die. Which is, I know we're going to talk about this last, but I want to say it before I forget, is I'm hoping to do that video guide with Sevenless or whatever, and he has an amazing how to avoid death and your best, your best options and the best ways to avoid death. So the top 4 reasons and top 4 ways to do it. So I'm going to definitely do a video on that because it's astounding.
Oh yeah. I saw the guide the other day, and I actually offered to make him a website.
Oh really? That'd be cool.
Yeah, because on the forum it's a bit limited how you can present that content. So I offered, and he seems a bit interested. He doesn't know anything about web design, but also. He said that he would like to be able to get a little bit of compensation for all of his efforts into that guide. And if you haven't seen the guide, it is a massive guide. Like it's at 10,000 words now, right?
Yep, 10,000 words and counting.
No, so it's not like he just put in a bit of effort. So he actually wants to get an AdSense account and just get a bit of ad revenue,
or even donating. I mean, if you could donate, that I would. Because I mean, the problem is that this game is so underground that there isn't a huge following yet, but the game is so underground that the pure difficulty of the game will steer some people away. The same reason that games like League of Legends or Dota or any of those games steer a lot of people away is because of the learning curve. And this game has a huge learning curve. It's a whole different mindset. It's totally different, and that when you have a guide like that to go off of, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, it'd be nice if Seatribe themselves actually made a manual. Those kind of old style manuals which games tended to have in the 90s.
Oh Lord, yes I do. The big fat manuals you get when you buy an N64 game.
Yeah, and it's got hundreds of pages of information of how to play the game. Right.
So I definitely would say, as far as this, as far as that part is, the game is progressing very well. So I think that we could expect some interesting things that we'll be seeing. And I could go on for, even when in the Apocalypse videos, which I'm sure everybody has seen, the Apocalypse videos, they showed us so much stuff that they haven't even put in the game yet.
Yeah,
so
that was our first sighting of turkeys, which are now in the game.
Yep, first sighting of turkeys, which are horridly annoying.
I think the spawn rate's a little high, or maybe
Yes,
they're actually
either the
trying
s-
to annoy us with them, so we do
either
kill
the
them.
spawn rate's really high or their noise rate is really high. One of the two.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think that the game is headed in a really good direction. So I think that if it does, and it's one of the reasons why I would like to get my opinion out there is if you're interested in the game and you're saying, oh well, this kind of looks interesting, but I really don't know if I like the permadeath or I don't know if I like this or that. Just try it. That's all I could say is just try it, and then give it a chance. Really sit down and take your time and learn it, and figure out what the game's all about. And pretty soon you'll be addicted. It's it definitely has that possibility of creating its own genre.
yeah.
I definitely think it does.
Yeah, and when you try and pick up the game, don't be lazy and skip the instructions. Because I saw so many people logged in today and they were like, I'm in Boston now, what do I do?
Right, yeah.
I mean, it says, what you're supposed to do in the lower right corner. It says walk away from Boston.
Right.
And they're hanging around Boston asking what to do.
Yep, and that's the thing, man. I mean, you can't ignore the directions because in this game, directions are everything.
Yeah, and I can just imagine how many people are stuck at the boat wondering why they can't board the boat or give the captain their name because they haven't learned childish things.
Right, and the pure 100% fact of the matter is that games nowadays are they're so spoon-fed that games are becoming mindless. And when I play a game, I like to think.
Yeah,
I don't want to, I have my random spats where I like to play a game that's just completely and utterly mindless, but for the most part, I like to think when I play games. And which is why I really like puzzle games, I like strategy games. I like to think. And if you're that type of person where you really like to immerse yourself in a game, and this is one of the only games where I could play it for an entire day and not realize where the day went.
Yeah, this is the only game which has made me walk for hours.
Right, but see, when you walk for hours, you're like, holy crap, that was awesome.
Yeah, after you make the trek and then you go check out the world map and you see how far you walked.
Right, yeah,
it's insane
it's
how
rewarding.
big the world is. Yeah, and it's rewarding. And because I walked through the world so much, I basically walked all the way down to the invisible south border.
And I walked to the invisible north border.
Yeah, and I walked almost all the way to the north border as well.
I'm gonna run back here real quick. We missed a devil word. I want to pick this up.
All right. And so
ADD moment.
Yeah. I think we just left Boston anyway. We should head back. Yes.
Oh well.
Stay in Boston.
Right. Yes.
So yeah, I basically walked all the way south and all the way north, and we finally settled somewhere. But just because I walked that much, I kind of like recognize the world now. I know, like in my Let's Play, I said southwest of here is the big mountain range, and you have to walk around it. So it makes you familiar with the world.
Yeah, and that's exactly it too. That's a big part of it too. Is it makes you familiar with your surroundings, and there are so many things that you have to take into consideration. Like you were saying in your Let's Plays, there's so many things you have to take in consideration when finding a good spot to settle that make the game that much more important. Is you can't just hop in the game, start it up, and then just mindlessly try and do something. You got to think. There are a lot of things you have to take into consideration, or you set yourself up for failure later on.
Yeah, and the biggest thing on finding a place to stay is when you hit the big forests in the west, and it'll be like, yes, there's forest here, there's plenty of it, I can just build anywhere. And if you build up in the middle of one of those, you'll realize the importance of the grassland.
Yep, you do. And that's one of the reasons why, I kind of, at least you're close to the grasslands and where we settled, but, you have to be in grasslands because you realize the importance of it. I did, because I settled my first settlement when I first started playing this game was in the middle of a forest, and I was like, this is amazing. There's tons of toadstools and chestnuts and all this other stuff. Well, then I started realizing, better turn around here. Then I started realizing that, oh crap, I need grass for everything.
Yeah.
So it definitely, the one thing that I can say about the things that they've been changing lately that I've been noticing is that they're really starting to make things more important. Like, I never, ever in the last world stopped to pick up grass to make the straw man. I never stopped to pick up grass to make hay usually.
Yeah.
Because I only make maybe a 1 or 2 when I needed them, or I had to make 15 for my pilgrim's hobble. but I never really stopped to pay attention. I didn't really care. Now it's like gold because I got my learning ability down to 35%. And I'm like, oh crap, what do I do now? And you just stop, pick up some hay, make a straw man, and get it back up.
Yeah.
So it's definitely they're definitely making it. You realize how important everything is in the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're not only like increasing the variety of the game. Like, there's a lot of new crafting things you can learn and something. They added a few more. Let me just check here. On the inspirationals, there's this new Crown of Thorns.
Yes.
Which I haven't made any. You get these thorns off of those spiky plants in like the pine forests and deserts.
Yep. That's exactly what it is.
They also added in what else? Let's see. I'm sure there's more things here. Acorn Indian, which is this thing. I've never made one of those either.
I have. They're not bad, but they're not worth. I don't think they're worth all the work unless you really need it.
I heard they were buffed though recently.
Yeah, they were buffed. I still haven't made one since they've been buffed. They were actually buffed. That was in the nonsense patch as Jorb. So
yeah, just general
wonderfully named
updates.
it the nonsense patch. But yeah, there's a lot of different things, and actually I might be wrong. Don't quote me on it, but it's going to be funny as could be if it actually is. But I have heard that when you wear the Crown of Thorns, you can actually wear it as a hat. It actually drains your blood, so it actually hurts you.
That is amazing.
And that's what I'm talking about.
I love games that allow you to hurt yourself like that.
Right. And actually, if you want some more funny little anecdotes for you, in Haven and Hearth, there was 2 main villages. One was Sodom and one was Gomorrah.
Right.
And they were always warring between each other, from what I heard and from what I know. I don't know everything, but from what I heard, those were the real big ones. And they added an inspirational into the game called The Brick of Fallen Sodom and Gomorrah. I think that's what it's called.
Right.
But it's in direct reference to Sodom and Gomorrah from Haven and Hearth.
Right, yeah.
So the reason why this game is so amazing and why I tell everybody to check it out is because the developers they're not so professional to where they have to keep a certain code or something like that. They're more like, oh, we think it's funny, so we're gonna do it.
Yeah, because it's just 2 guys, and Paradox actually doesn't have too much control over them. Paradox gave them the freedom to do what they want. Right. Which is very rare for a publisher, by the way. Paradox, it's like they're almost not the publisher. They're just promoting it.
Right, yeah. Honestly, you're right. Is because I really don't see how Paradox is publishing Salem. Because they're really kind of doing it themselves. Because it's such an interesting game. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I'm sure that if anyone tried to control the development of Salem, it would be terrible. And I'm pretty sure Paradox knows that as well. But I guess they get a cut of the profits in exchange for promoting the game.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Because I think Salem's already a lot more popular than Heaven and Hearth.
It is. Honestly, it is. I heard earlier today there was, 400 and some people online?
Yeah, I think it hit about 400.
And I've never seen 400 in Haven and Hearth. I personally haven't. So I don't know if there ever has been. I'm sure there has been at one point, but I've never seen it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's doing good. It's definitely doing pretty good, and I think basically what I think that now they're doing it the right way. Like, yeah, right now there's only 164 people playing Haven and Hearth. But I think that they're doing it the right way now. They kind of realized what they did, and by giving players by making it too hard, you actually steer people away.
Yeah. Some
people like it, some people don't. But now I think the community from Haven and Hearth they've come together in such a way. There's an Age Driftwood over there if you need it. But
is there? Oh, I can't see it.
Yeah. But Haven and Hearth has come, and they've realized, the community has realized what they did wrong, and by not providing enough instruction. And I really think that, the tutorial videos, I think that the tutorial videos, that guide, everything is just it's gonna make the game do that much better.
Right, yeah. The community is a lot better as well. And a lot of people have been saying the Salem community is quite mean, but because a lot of people were coming in today, which we should probably talk about now, a lot of people were coming in today, and most people in the Boston Town Square were actually trying to help people, answering questions, giving out free stuff, people giving out maple leaves and food and stuff like that, which is really nice. Of course, as soon as someone started insulting the game, then they got a bit mean about it. But overall, generally, they were very civil about everything.
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, look at when me and you first met. When I first messaged you on YouTube, that first message I ever sent you, I wanted to do initially was just help you because I saw you were doing videos, and I was figure, well, I know a little bit more, and so I'll help you out and stuff. And that's how the community, it really is like that. They're just like they like helping each other.
Yeah, they actually do. This guy has been AFK for like 8 hours, by the way.
Which guy?
This guy right here.
He's been there
all
I've
day.
seen him I've seen him for a while, which is kind of cool because you can actually AFK in Boston if you'd like.
Yeah, but it's a bit dangerous if someone lures a bear or snake in here.
Yes, it does, but I really think that I think if you could just run into the church and everything like that, and it'd be all right.
Yeah, if you want to AFK, go into a building, either the church or one of those hovels over there. Just hide inside there because animals can't get in.
Right, yeah. They can't. It's impossible.
So yeah, we should talk about the beta giveaway, which happened, not mine. It happened like just a few hours ago, and I only saw like the end of it because I was asleep, and they went pretty fast. But they gave out over 2,000 beta keys. Yep,
they gave. It was pretty crazy. From what I heard, I was not around all day, to pay attention, but it was definitely. I came back in, I kind of saw where it started happening. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, whatever. And then I came back in later on, and Boston was just flooded. Yeah, and I'm going, what in the world happened?
You couldn't walk through the town square because everyone wasn't reading the tutorials.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, everyone was just in the middle of the town square saying, what do I do now? What is phlegm? How do I, all of it was explained in the tutorial if they just read it.
Right, yeah. If they would have read those big, long tutorials, they would have known.
Yeah. But no, like half of the people came in and like, what do I do now that I've created my character? It tells you what to do. It says in the lower right corner, it's supposed to be right there. Walk away from Boston, and then it'll tell you exactly what to do.
Right, yeah. It literally, as soon as you start the game, it tells you step by step, how to do it. And I think that is a big upgrade because it used to not.
Yeah.
It used to just kind of set you in the world, and you had to figure out what to do. So they're definitely making some improvements. I think the game still needs some improvements. It still needs some balancing, but that's part of what beta is all about.
Yeah, so it's not so much that there's an extra 2,000 people on all the time right now, because I'm pretty sure they said that they wanted 1,000 people a server. So 2,000 beta keys does not mean 2,000 people on at one time.
Right, no, they just gave out enough so where they'd get a new influx of players.
Yeah, so overall, from what I can tell, the population of Salem has been tripled. It used to hover around between 80 and 100, and now it's between like 300 plus kind of thing.
Yep. And the other thing that I don't know if we covered before or not, but when it comes to that I want to talk about with the influx of players is some people are worried that I've seen kind of randomly. Some people are saying, well, what about when I start the game, there's going to be all these people that have been playing for months and months and months, and they're going to be way ahead of me, and I might die and stuff like that. Well, the reason why some people haven't got beta keys yet is because they're trying to implement new servers. so that they have 5 or 8 servers that they can run, so people can kind of choose. And I'm sure Boston is going to be the veteran server where everybody already kind of has played, and then you're going to get your new servers where all the new players can kind of go in and they can do their own thing without having to worry about getting killed right off the bat.
Yeah. Also, it does actually seem kind of hard to get yourself killed if you know what you're doing in Salem, because I've never been killed.
I have not died yet.
Yeah, neither of us have died yet, and despite going through early beta where half the players were evil Russians and stuff, it's surprising that we didn't get killed at any point. Our places were never raided. Well, one of your village was kind of attacked, but nothing serious, was it? It wasn't like raided to the ground or anything.
It was, in my personal opinion, I won't get into the details of it, but it was completely avoidable. Had more of it been thought out, it was completely avoidable, but it just wasn't really, and that was one of the lessons, that we learned in the last world. It's all about learning your lessons, So yeah. I think that, if you think ahead, you always got to think ahead, you'll be all right.
Yeah, also the problem people have about progression, like, oh, if I join a couple of months late, then I'll be way behind. I'd just like to remind everyone that any multiplayer game with progression has that problem. Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a problem because, for example, if let's say you start playing Battlefield 3, like 6 months after everyone, most of the other players have already leveled their abilities, they've unlocked all the new guns, they have all the equipment and gear. So are you saying that, if you join Battlefield 3 6 months late, then you're going to be behind? Or even Guild Wars 2, if you, although PvP is like balanced because everyone's max level on PvP there. But,
which is amazing.
Because they really want to be competitive on that. Salem's not supposed to be a competitive game, by the way. No one's gonna like shoutcast Salem. Well, actually, maybe we would shoutcast Salem PvP.
yeah, I could see that. But one of the big things though is it's really a different breed, and that's the 100% thing. There is no game I don't care what game's out there. You really couldn't. You couldn't say, oh, well, Salem's just like this, or Salem's just like that. It's impossible because of the pure creativity that went into this game.
Yeah, the only thing you can say it's like is Haven and Half.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's exactly what it's like. But when it comes to also with the new influx of players, and when you get your beta key and you start playing and stuff, that's like I've said it earlier, but that the one thing that is the biggest thing in the game is you have to work for everything. You can't just jump into the game and expect the game to tell you everything. You have to put forth the energy to get into the community, and you have to put forth the energy to get on IRC, start knowing people, start kind of networking yourself, get on the wiki, start looking stuff up, and eventually it gets to the point where people know who you are, and you start developing a reputation for yourself. And like we were talking about it earlier, I've been on IRC for I don't even know. I don't even think I can check how long I've been in IRC. That one of the biggest things that I have to say is just make sure you network yourself, because the community in Salem it's very, I guess you could say it's very close knit. You're going to get, just like in World of Warcraft, if you play World of Warcraft, who, for instance, Nim is. He does all the videos on YouTube, all the machinima. He's almost like a World of Warcraft celebrity. And eventually, the more you get in touch with your community, you start seeing the people that play pretty consistently, and the people that really know. I mean, there are people in IRC that know way more than I do, and they know how every aspect of the game works. And the biggest thing that I really have respect for this game for, and that I tell why I want to say that it's better than most games out there, is because, for instance, right now as we speak, Loftar is in IRC chat. He's the developer of the game, and if you go in IRC chat, as long as he's not trying to help somebody with a problem or something like that, he's willing and free to give out information, provided you ask it in the right way. Yeah. So it's not like he's being super secretive. Nobody knows who he is. He gets an IRC just like any other guy and talks to people just like everybody else.
Yeah.
So that is one of the biggest other things that I like to stress is that you can actually get to know the developer if you'd like. If you get in the IRC and you do the work, and you got to do your own research. So that's it. When it comes to the new influx of players, if you have got a beta key, congratulations, by the way, for getting into the game that you've probably been dying to play. But you definitely have to do the work to learn the game. You can't, even watching the entire what is it? I think we're up to almost 8 hours on our Salem guide. And you could watch every video and still you won't know, the perfect amount of stuff. You'll know the basics of what to do, but you won't know, how the purity system works, how all these different things work. I got this guy trying to punch me in the face here. But you won't know exactly how everything works. So you really have to do the work yourself to
the guide's not really about mastering the game at all.
No, and really
it's about helping you, like, at certain points, like, oh, you've managed to get yourself so far, but I don't know how this specific thing works. Like agriculture. The agriculture video is like one of the most popular videos because no one can figure out farming properly.
Yep, and I really would like, either me or you or something, I would really like to sit back and do an actual, a good, I mean, no offense, it's a great video, but actual really good explanation of how the system works.
Yeah, advanced farming.
Because there is, all the different fertilizers do all different things. There's a what do you call that? I think it's called like diminishing return or something like that on your fertilizer. So if you use, 3 wood choppings, even if you use a lime on it next, you're still going to get it's still going to diminish. So if you use 4 of fertilizer, it doesn't matter what fertilizer you use, they all start losing their stats as you go along. So you really have to pay attention, and you really have to focus on, well, I really want this one to give me a lot of plenty, or I really want this one to give me a lot of influence. So that I really would, like to actually go through that, but I don't even know all the exact specifics on it yet.
Yeah, there's some advanced mathematics behind the farming system.
There is a lot of advanced mechanics behind this entire game.
Yeah.
So, but that's really about, for the influx of players. That's kind of what I wanted to just say. I wanted to tell people, because there's been so many new players, which is why, I suggested we did the podcast, is just to kind of reassure people that the game might be hard. You might have a hard time figuring it out now, but just like with any game or anything, it only gets easier.
Yeah, I mean, once you get the hang of Salem, it's actually, really fun and really immersive.
I got all my friends, man. I'm telling you, I got, 4 people, real life friends that are all asking me, oh, what server are you gonna play on for Guild Wars 2? We're playing on this server. We're playing on that server. We're playing on this server. And I'm going, I might not even play Guild Wars 2 because I'm just so ingrained with Salem and doing the Salem videos and doing all that. I don't know if I'm gonna have time. Because
we've kind of, committed ourselves to Salem by now. People are, pestering me. Every time I do a non-Salem video, they're all like, more Salem, more Salem.
I did, I'm sure what you saw on my 100 subscriber vids, or my 100 subscriber video, I literally said about 3 times, what would you guys like to see me do? What do you want? If you got another game you want me to play, or you got something else that you want me to do, let me know. If you say, hey, I want to see you play I want to see how bad you are at League of Legends, I'll feel free. But I literally got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, 5. Looks like 6 comments of more Salem and no comments about any other game.
Yeah, and they're never any specific about Salem. They don't say, oh, I want to see this feature from Salem. They just say, no, more Salem. It doesn't matter what it is.
And honestly, you gave me an idea that I think I might do is I might periodically make a raw footage like you did of a Let's Play, except as my progress comes along. So I might just go out foraging for half an hour and just literally just talk and explain some things, and you'll get to see how I do things and how I play the game and stuff like that, which I've also have and I don't know how I'm going to do it, but to all the guys out there that want to, I have so many people asking to be in a settlement with me that I could probably run a small army. So I don't really think I'll be able to settle with too many people, but I'm sure you get a lot of people too that say, hey, let's I want to play with you in open beta. Let's get a settlement together in open beta, and it's just, this game isn't free like that. You can't just do make decisions like that, because the more, as you probably have noticed, I don't know if you have, playing with, you're playing in our settlement with a lot of different people, and this guy is just carrying a loom through. How did he get a loom?
You realize must have built it here.
No, you realize he built it outside of the Boston Claim and carried it here. Because you can't build in the Boston here. Claim. What?
Right. Wow. Well,
anyway,
maybe he's watching the video. You're now famous as the guy who carried the loom into Boston.
The guy who literally carried that that probably took him a half an hour to walk that thing back here. But at any rate, what I was saying before was, I think you're starting to realize, if you have, and that guy just randomly got knocked. What is going on? Just randomly knocks out in Salem? Whatever.
He must have been studying something.
Yep, or he was poisoned.
Oh, yeah.
But, the one thing is, the more people you play with in a certain area, the harder time you have playing in that area, because people start running the materials and stuff dry.
Yeah, so, if you overcrowd an area, then competition it gets out of hand, and no matter if you're in the same village or not, competition still exists.
Yep, it does. I've been in a village, and to some extent, it does start to, like the village I was in was awesome. It was great, and I'm thinking about taking that guy's stuff. But at any rate,
there's a purple bottle there. Is that an antidote?
Oh, that was an antidote. He stole it. What else did he have? Ah! He didn't
got
really
some
have
herbs.
He got a cross, an herb, a couple of herbs there.
I didn't realize the cross had a 3D model on it.
Yes, it does. It actually looks like a cross. But yeah, that's one of the things that I could say too for the new players that are going to be playing is don't jump in and try to just play with a village with a bunch of people. If you got to really, you have to really play. You have to understand, I think, a little bit more before you can play with people. You got to learn how to play by yourself first.
Yeah, don't be afraid of dying. You should just make a first character, go out into the wild. You might get yourself killed, but don't get upset that you get yourself killed. If you get yourself killed, that's like the biggest learning experience.
Right.
Just walking for hours and stuff.
The guy, if you're paying attention to chat, that guy just bought a bottle of antidote, and he tried to use it and KO'd as he was using it, it looks like, and that guy took it.
Oh, no.
That's 250 silver down the tubes.
Well, if that loom guy is nice enough, he'd return it, but I'm not sure if he is.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows there, but yeah, that's one of the things I would like to mention, definitely, is you got to learn how to play by yourself before you can rely on other people to play it, really.
Yeah, you can't just expect to come into the game and expect to join like a large village, because they're going to be giving you so much stuff. They'll be giving you protection, they'll be giving you stuff and food and all of that stuff, and you have nothing to give back to them because you don't know how to play the game. Yeah,
right, exactly.
And doing stuff like that will get people upset. And if you just join a village, you get yourself killed, basically. Your villagers will just kill you because they get so annoyed.
Yep, and I've actually been in a village where somebody got exiled to a certain extent because, when you do something, he did something like he had barley in his inventory and he was basically taking it back to our village from the farm, and he was an idiot and decided that he was going to try and fight something with it in his inventory, and he tried to run away, and I think it was a bear or something, and he was over water, and he KO'd and lost all of our barley.
Wow.
And that is where being in a village can get kind of rough, is because if you're if you're using their supplies, and if something happens, if you lose it, that's you that did that. So definitely,
and
those are some of the things that I've learned, which brings us to our last topic, was things that I've learned in Salem. It's things that I've learned are crazy because you learn new things every day.
yeah, so Salem, I mean, like, even if you've been playing for as long as us, or even longer than us, alpha people, it's just how the game works. It gets more and more. And also, I want to point out that now there's more players in the game. The actual dynamic of the game will change as more people join. Because there's more people selling stuff. There's going to be more player stalls over that way. There's going to be more social interaction. There's going to be a lot more politics going on.
Yeah.
The world is being crowded. I just noticed near our lean-tos, near our settlements, a lean-to has popped in. I think it's a random spawn from a guide.
Yep. And actually, I did want to mention that because what he doesn't understand is he put a bunch of signposts in front of it. I think possibly thinking that he was going to be protected. And what he doesn't realize is that it isn't on a claim, so it's decaying as we speak.
Yeah.
And it's starting to turn red.
So hopefully he comes back soon, and he's not I don't think he's going to be any threat if he doesn't know that.
Right, exactly. So, that is a good point. That is a very good point, is the game will change with the more players that start playing, and it'll actually get more fun.
Yeah, I mean, even if you have if you got 10 friends set up in an area, and you don't have a village claim or anything, you're all just set up in an area. If more players join the game, there's a higher chance that someone's just gonna, wilderness guide right in the middle of all of you guys.
Yep.
And, if he's stubborn, he's gonna set up there. He's gonna claim that land.
And that would be a really dumb decision, because if you really wanted to, you could just get rid of him. So that is another note, is if you random spawn and you spawn next to somebody, try and associate yourself with those people. Be nice. Ask if if they want you to help them with anything. They'll help you, you help them. You start kind of networking yourself, and you start kind of don't go in there, don't go in thinking, oh, this guy's gonna kill me or something like that. Just kind of be careful.
Yeah, one thing I learned is a reputation in the game really does help. Like, for example, you're always on IRC, so everyone knows you, basically. And when we met that guy, and he was wanting to claim a mine near our place, he actually gave it to us because, he asked who you were, and you said you were Eegore, and he knew your name. And then he asked who I was, and I said I was GamerZakh, and he was like, aha! So it's you two. And he was nice enough to give us the mine.
Yep, and then...
If we weren't who we were, he probably would have just taken it.
Exactly. I'm almost willing to bet he would have been like, well, we were here first, or I wouldn't have cared if he wanted it. But actually, I don't know if you've been around since then, but I actually made a deal with him, and we share it now. I gave him and the people the opportunity. We share it, and he built a smelter next to it, and he finished the mine hole for us, and I'm gonna wall it off. And that's how give and you get. I told him, hey, we can share it, if you want to share the mine hole for now until he finds better mine hole, better purity mine. And he did, and he built his own smelter at his place, and we got our own, and we work together. I trade with him stuff if he needs something, he'll trade with me stuff if I need something. That's how the world of Salem works, is community interaction.
Yeah, and when we first met him at the mine, I didn't realize his claim was so close. When he said he was north, I thought he was because he said 15 minutes north. It's not 15 minutes north, it's 3 minutes north.
Yeah, if not closer.
Yeah, it was just off the map. Yeah, I didn't realize he was that close. So when he gave us the mine, I thought, oh, okay, it's kind of far for him and stuff. But no, he's right there. That was probably supposed to be his mine.
Yeah, but I am finding out, though, from talking to a couple of buddies, that he's been popping up. He's been actually popping up the little piles of wood. He's been building piles of wood over certain little areas, random areas around the wilderness, and those are other mine holes that we can't see.
Oh yeah, so that's how he does tend to do that, which is kind of dangerous because people are going to start claiming it. But when we actually found the mine first, but then we logged off and then came back because we were still thinking it over. And then he went and marked it out really clearly on the map by putting like 4 stones and then digging an X into the ground. Doing stuff like that can be dangerous because someone will say, "Hey, there's something here. I'm just gonna claim it."
Right. One of the other things, though, that I really like to make a noteworthy mention of to the new players out there is when you start Salem, this is that type of game where you can make a character, play on him for a while, get him developed. You can make a new character and go in a completely different direction. And I will like to say, unless you have a lot, and I mean a lot of time on your hands, when you first start up playing Salem, decide what you want to do. Decide if, well, I think I want to be a farmer, or I think I want to be a forager, or I think I want to be just a straight crafter, or a miner, or pick your job.
Or try to be a solo raider. Bad idea.
Or do that, yep. Yeah, but you can do whatever you want, but try not to go into the game thinking you want to do everything, because that's where it becomes overwhelming. Because if you try and do everything, you're going to have to raise all of your skills super high, and you're also going to have to worry about the purity of everything that you do. So it's definitely imperative to know, well, I want to be a cloth worker, I want to be a farmer, which kind of goes hand in hand. Baking goes along with farming. Cloth goes with farming. Then you get leather. You could be a leather worker. There's plenty of things you can craft with leather. There's a lot of different jobs that you could do. So you really want to kind of go into it watching, maybe watch some of the videos in the guide and just saying, oh, well, that looks kind of cool. I think I want to try that out.
Yeah.
So that's important, is jumping into the game and knowing a direction you want to go in, because I can promise you right now, for those who haven't played it, the game does not give you a direction at all.
There's no direction. Besides on how to get yourself out there, there's like nothing. And I can just imagine how difficult it is to try and master single-handedly all the aspects of the game. Just imagine trying to maximize the purity of your farming and maximize the purity of your mining. Just two like essential things you guys have to do: farming and mining. If you try to do both of those perfectly, you'll probably kill yourself.
Yeah, you probably would too. And you will hear me say it in the other video that I'm working on currently. But the golden rule of Salem, for all you guys out there, the golden rule of Salem: if it isn't claimed, it's free game.
Oh yeah.
So don't, and I say this in my other video, so you'll hear me say it again, but don't go out there, pop down 4 or 5 wicker baskets, put all your stuff, all your valuables in it, and then log out, because there's a good chance when you log back in, they won't be there.
Yeah.
So that's definitely important, is keep your valuables on your character when you log out. And if you're also going to work on having one character, don't do it. Make multiple characters. If you do want to do everything, that is fine, but my suggestion would be do it on multiple characters, because if you get a master farmer and a master miner, which to me just seems almost impossible, but it's not, or all 3, master farmer, miner, and a leather worker, it's going to be a much harder hit if you die.
Oh yeah. Has the inheritance system been put in?
Inheritance system really hasn't been put in where you actually inherit skills. What you inherit is you inherit your claim. You inherit the ability to expand your claim and take control of that claim again. But as far as the actual skills, I don't think you get anything back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I don't think you get, they don't give you any skills back. If you die, I mean, honestly, can you really honestly tell me that, if you die, it's not your fault? Because I have seen a couple people that have died on an accident or something, but if you're honestly aware enough, you can't die. I haven't died. You haven't died.
Yeah, I mean, if you see like a bunch of people approaching your claim, worst case, just port back to Boston before they get to you.
Because there isn't anything more important in Salem. The biggest asset you can have in Salem is your character.
Yeah.
So even if you're getting raided, port back to Boston and let them take your stuff, because you can always work on getting it back. But you're going to spend 5, 6, 7 times the amount of time to level your character back again. And chances are there's going to be a lot of people out there, and I sure hope there isn't, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are going to die once and quit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's the biggest rule in Salem. If you die once and you want to quit, the game's probably not for you.
Yeah, there was someone who popped into Boston earlier today, and he was saying like, I'm not sure if this game is worth my time. So someone just went straight up to him and said, "It's not if you're asking that question." And you'll cry when you die. And then he said, "Yeah, you're probably right." And he said to save yourself the heartache. And then they left.
Yep, that is it. So, yep, I'm doing I posted it on my video, and that's what I think we probably should talk about before we log off here, before we sign off. I'm sure it's getting pretty close there.
Oh yeah.
But on my next video, I'm working on a scripted / animated video of the early steps into Salem. So you get to see a rough sketch of how I started my character. So if you guys don't really know what direction you want to go in, I can give you I'm going to give a very general wanderer / forager kind of area to start, and then you guys can kind of take it from there. So keep an eye out for that one, because I'm working on that pretty steadily. But other than that, I do have some plans that I want to remake a few videos. I want to update a few videos. I'm going to work on, like I said, I'm going to do some random videos, I think, of just me talking and wandering through, the grasslands of Salem, picking up stuff and crafting stuff, and, showing basically how the game can progress and what happens when you start getting, like up to your biles, where you start getting up into the 20s in your biles and stuff, and how easy things actually do get. So I definitely am going to do that, so keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure what you have planned, but...
Well, what I've got more Let's Plays coming up, because I'm just really busy right now, but Let's Plays are easy to make, and it seems to keep people happy when they ask for Salem. They seem to be enjoying it. I think I'm doing an okay job at it. So
I think so.
Yeah, I don't actually do... I think it's my first actual, like, raw Let's Play. Like, the closest I've got my Season 3 videos, which are kind of Let's Plays, but I cut them as short as I can, so they're not like raw Let's Plays.
Yep.
What else have I got? I have, since I've been looking at the Sevenless guide, I've been wanting to kind of videofy it. So,
And that, I've actually contacted Sevenless about that. And he wanted to collaborate with me, and he said he would be more than willing to work with me and help me, provided that it's done in the right way. He said that he would definitely want it scripted, so that you could put a script in the description, so people could translate it if they wanted. And he said he did want it done in a way which could be very understandable, very easy. But I agree with you 100%. There is some things in that guide that I would really like to videofy, like the How Not to Die in Salem.
Oh yeah.
He has a really good gluttony guide, a really good bile guide that's really, really well explained. So I might start working on some of those just in my free time to kind of help you guys learn more of what the game actually is. I was actually thinking about doing an intricate kind of HUD, the HUD for the game, and what everything is, because there are a lot of things in the HUD and stuff that people don't know about, which I can give you a little tip right now. I don't know if you know, but you can actually hit on your keyboard there. You can hit Alt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you actually have 5 different hotbars.
Oh right.
So you could have one hotbar.
Yeah,
you could have one hotbar for combat, one hotbar for crafting, one hotbar for... You can have a bunch of different hotbars if you really like.
Yeah.
So that's... Some people don't know about that kind of stuff, and I'd really like to... I'll probably just squeeze that into one of my other videos. But yeah, I have a few things planned, so just because I haven't released a video in a little bit since my 100 subscriber one, I'm working on it.
Yeah, here's something on the interface. You can press the squiggly key next to one, and it'll bring up this thing called Glob Prof. And I actually don't know what it is.
I think that is some sort of performance. Because, like, if you notice, really, if you stand in the same spot, it doesn't really change a whole lot. But it stays pretty steady all the way across, almost like a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
But if you move, and you start moving, you'll start seeing it go up and down. And
oh, yeah, it does.
So I don't know if that's some sort of performance monitor, or if it's some sort of developer monitor that they haven't taken out yet. I don't know what that is. But yeah, there's a few things that I have planned. So you have planned. And
well,
more podcasts.
Taking on the Sevenless guide, I think it's so massive.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
As much as what we've already done for the Salem guide, it's that much more.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's what we've done on the Salem guide, but actually put together well.
Yeah, and it's like
better explained, I think.
Yeah, probably not for beginners because it'll be quite advanced topics. Some of them for beginners, like how not to die.
Right.
But it would be very, very technical.
Yeah, it is very technical too. That is one of the big ones. Is very technical.
Yeah, so it won't be for everyone. I don't think there'll be like super fun videos to watch. But if people actually do want to learn the game, it'll probably be really good.
It'd be a lot easier to understand. I think it'd be a lot easier to. It's basically, honestly, a true tutorial.
Yeah.
It's not us kind of, because like in some of our videos and some of mine and some of yours, it's like our first time experimenting with it. So it's just basically a let's play on agriculture, a let's play on mining.
Yeah, it is.
I know when I did mining it was the first time I ever did it. So it was kind of an experimentation. So definitely I think if we do the guide, it'll be a lot more in depth with how to explain certain things. And I want to do eventually I want to do a early on gluttony. Really, I really do. I want to do it early on, how to get those first gluttony points that are incredibly hard, because getting your gluttonies up to, like, I'm at 21, 24, 23, and 24.
Right.
And I got enough in my inventory to hopefully get me up to around 30s. But getting to this point is a pain because almost everything seems like it gives blood.
Yeah, that is a bit.
You end up with 20 blood and 8 phlegm, and so there is some intricacy to it, and I want to kind of cover that.
Yeah, so it's probably maybe. Do you think we can both take on the Sevenless guide?
I think we could.
Yeah, eventually.
I think if we really collaborated with it and really communicated on what we were going to do, I think we could. The other thing that I actually wanted to run by, and maybe if you guys, I want to know, because I don't even know if this is possible really, but if it is possible, I'd like to get some feedback. Is I wonder how hard it would be to set up these podcasts if you could record it and live stream it.
Live stream the podcast? You probably can.
I mean, I'm not saying, I know right now there probably aren't enough people that view it, but if people really like this kind of thing, it could be you could almost live stream it and, have a chat open while you're live streaming. And I've seen people do it before. I just don't know how. Yeah,
live streaming is a bit more complicated than recording. Plus, we won't be able to cut out parts where people make phone calls.
No, that is true. That you got a point there, but I don't know. It was just kind of an idea that was floating around in my head. I
suppose if it's like a live stream, then people will expect that it's not cut, so there will be parts where things don't go according to plan.
Right, exactly.
So it's to be expected.
But, yep. But I believe that covers everything. I think we're hitting our time mark. We're running out of time here. I don't know what time you got.
Yeah, we're just about crossing into an hour now.
Okay, good. So then my clock is just about right.
Okay, so I think we can end it there. Any last words?
I don't think so. I think that really covered everything. I think that I'll start making note of more events and news to come, so that our next podcast can be, it'll be a little bit even more organized than this one.
Yeah.
I really want to get it more organized, but I think that pretty much covers everything that's been happening lately.
Yeah, so the next podcast will be whenever we need one and when we're ready. We can't do these all the time. There's a lot to talk about, so we got to wait for enough content to come out.
And we have to wait until we're both free for this long in a quiet and decent area to actually do it. I know I get some background noise in my house occasionally, so it kind of gets annoying here and there. But so we just kind of got to schedule them. But hopefully, just showing everybody that we actually are still doing podcasts.
Uh-huh. Okay, so I think we can end it there. Let's say bye to our friends, which is the Loom guy over here, which I think he's AFK now. Yep. So just saying bye to the Loom guy.
He's AFK on the Loom. Got the, I think this is still the KO guy that died from poison after he bought one.
Okay, KO guy's
really
still
100%.
Here. And this AFK guy, which has been here all day.
The 8-hour AFK are here.
Yeah.
So that should be about it. I don't really have anything else that I have much to talk about, at least.
All right. So, well, we'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Indeed. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you later in the next one.
And I gotta end with my catchphrase. I'll see you in the next video. Okay. We can cut
Okay,
that.
all right, we're good. Yeah, I figured you were going to end with your catchphrase, but I had to get my little 2 cents in there first.
Yeah.
But I think that went better than the last one.
Yeah. It was.
We actually stayed on topic of Salem the entire time, pretty much.